Morning traders, traders here. We have ISM manufacturing PMI at 3 p.m. UK time later on today, so that will probably maybe drive the market for a bit later on. Euro dollar going into the week, I have been slightly bearish to start off the week, and then we'll see as the week progresses, because I don't want to aim for too much. I don't want to make a long-term prediction right now. We took out these highs, took liquidity above those highs. But we also are in a strong bullish order flow. We've been holding fair value gaps right along the way, closed above this high with this strong bullish candle. However, on the monthly time frame, that is just price taking out liquidity off this high. So this week, I was saying yesterday, I want to see price pull into this fair value gap and then look for a trading opportunity when it comes to that level. Not aiming to go up to these highs, but just a short-term counter trend trades. That's on the weekly time frame. We've got other confluences added in onto that weekly time frame. We've got a daily time frame fair value gap, the last one after this order block of this swing going up. So that is a key fair value gap for me. So which also lines up with the weekly time frame fair value gap. So ideally, yeah, I do want to see price coming into this level, finding some kind of support and pushing up slightly. After taking out those highs at 1.12, we have displaced lower. As we can see, last week we took out previous week's high. So this was the previous week's Friday. This was Monday, we wicked above, and since then we have just displaced lower, failing to make a new high every day. We also closed below this breaker block candle, what became a breaker block. We've been displacing with fair value gaps here, fair value gap here, which is something I'll be watching out for going into the week. Maybe we'll pull back into this fair value gap, tap into that breaker block, and then go down to the weekly time fair value gap, or we will just go down here first and then go up. It's also NFP week, so that's something to consider when getting into trades. Yesterday I was predicting the same thing. I was hoping price would start coming in, pulling back in. As you can see, we took out Friday's low and put in a bullish candle, so maybe we'll take out yesterday's high. I'm not sure if we'll push into the fair value gap, but maybe we'll find resistance at previous day's highs. That will depend on how price plays out at that area. But if I'm to take aggressive entry, it would have to be at these levels. I can't be taking aggressive entries just at previous day's highs. On the 240 time frame, we have been displacing lower with bearish fair value gaps since these highs, right? And then yesterday we put in this strong bullish candle, which price has closed past the fair value gap, turning that into an inverse fair value gap. So maybe we'll see a push back down to that retest or the weekly low open at this 50% of this inverse fair value gap. But it's not really, maybe you can still get a 1-to-1 if you wanted to trade it. It's not something I'll be looking at, but I wouldn't suggest that either. We've got a 60 time from fair value gap right there sitting there waiting to be tapped into. However, I do like the price, the way price has approached and has come down to, it's coming down after breaking this 240 bullish fair value gap. I like this displacement. Strong displacement after price put in this order block, tried to push higher, failed, and then closed lower. So a 618 entry here would be pretty decent down to these fair value gaps. So yeah, that is what I'm looking for in euro dollar. Unless price comes to these levels, I'm not really going to be looking for a trade. Unless something drastically changes during the day, then yes, I'll look for something. With pound dollar, I'm a bit more bearish because we came into this last fair value gap on the monthly time frame range and held that 50% of that fair value gap last week after taking out the liquidity above the swing looking left, which, after seeing these confluences, I expect short-term bearish sentiment on this pair. Going into the week, we've got this bullish fair value gap, and we've also got another bullish fair value gap here. Ideally, if I want to take a long, I would want to see price tap into this bullish fair value gaps the second bullish fair value gap and look for a very short term counter trend, or otherwise maybe we'll see more opportunities around this level as well, but I'll need further confirmation in that level. We could pull deeper, seeing as price is playing the exact same pattern as it's playing right here. I'm not saying it's going to repeat itself, but we might get a deeper retracement. On the daily time frame, it was clear the way we rejected that monthly time frame for value gaps 50%. We came up, closed up, and then immediately pushed down, rejecting that 50% one more time. Also rejecting this breaker block on Friday, putting in this inverse fair value gap on Friday. A lot of confluences, and as I was saying in yesterday's pre-market analysis, that price might come into this 50% off this inverse fair value gap and find some kind of a resistance. And look what it did yesterday during London close. Price pushed up, held at 50%, and since then has been pushing lower. On the 240, we've got these equal lows right here above the fair value gap, which is an area of interest for me. So if price does come to that level, I will be looking for opportunities to go long. We also have, that was a trade yesterday coming into this inverse fair value gap 50%. It's not something I was watching because it was bank holiday. However, that would have been a good opportunity, and it does look like it's still providing an opportunity for a pullback trade where we've got a bearish fair value gap printing. We've still got a few hours for that, so let's not get too excited. But we have this displacement coming down, and this should provide a good opportunity to go short down to these lows. That's a good trading opportunity that I'll be taking a little short at. And even if I wanted to put my stops up there, that still gives me a 1.32% of risk reward. So yeah, that's a great trading opportunity. Apart from that, yeah, I'm going to wait for price to come into this equal lows right here and see, maybe we'll reach that level during the news, or maybe we'll move higher first before moving down, or maybe we'll just start to displace strongly in bullish direction, and all of my prediction of the bearish sentiment is wrong. It would depend on how the market plays out this week, especially with NFP going on at the end of the week. So that's my prediction for now. Let's see how the markets play out.